done, and it might not look the way I expected it to, but I'll know it and it'll be right.
Believe what he says, and then you can go from there and know what you want out of life.
Don't mistake discomfort for butterflies.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, just because no one should have to fight me to be with me or to love me. I'm okay where I'm at right now. Not moving and shaking fancy and putting everywhere.
I need to tell myself every day that I am perfect because God made me.
Since I've moved to New York, I've noticed, I don't know, there's this general there's an attitude with women, some women, which is, I get the vibe that women are looking for a man to help carry the weight. Like, that's their motivation. Financial. Help pay the bills. Like, I feel like they're looking for a guy who's stable, more just to like help relieve the stress of their finances. Yeah, have you? And I'm starting to define it as a New York woman, and I don't want to do that. Prove me wrong.
To the women that I've encountered, but women that I know, they're just looking for somebody. They want somebody to sleep next to at night. Like some of my friends who are like lamenting, I don't have anybody. Oh, it's so nice, what you have because I have a boyfriend and a son and we live together. And, we have this little quaint trio that seems to be like an ideal for some people, and they're like, I just want to be able to have somebody that I can say, I had a bad day at work. Could you rub my feet? So, I guess it's probably depending on where you are and the type of women that you're around, but I do agree that they're looking for something.
This thing, isn't that the basis of a partnership and relationship? Either way, you meet someone, you're compatible, you want to spend an extended amount of time with them, maybe the rest of your life with them, that falls into line eventually that you two become a team and become a partnership and start splitting the finances. So I don't think that it's women, there may be the who are just like, okay, that's what I want now, I want to pay my bills, whatever, but I want that too, just eventually be my backbone and help me out, and I can do the same for him.
So it's a where I fall short, he can pick up.
Exactly, and I will do the same for him. But it's just about finding that person you're willing to do that with first. I want someone with substance. I'm not going to spend my time dating someone if I can't see that in the long run.
And how do you find that person? Because I remember getting advice from this woman who was 39 years old, and she was like, oh, sweetheart, you have to play the damsel in distress. Like, you have to like always make him feel like he's a hero. Like, oh, I would love to have that, but I don't know how to get it. And I was like, really? But I'm a strong, independent, intelligent woman, and I'm starting to think that people are intimidated by it. Please prove me wrong.
Traditional roles of like the man being the hunter, and we have to just kind of sit back and wait for it to happen. That's just not happening these days. You have to be proactive and go for what you want. And it's like, not that you have to be super aggressive and like, didn't always, what I mean? But like, if you see a guy that you think is cute, smile at him. And then the rest, because a lot of times men are nervous and they're afraid to, come and say something to us because, let's be real, we know we will shut a man down just because we get it all the time. We walk down the street and the warmer it is, the more harassed we get. So we're just like, I'm over it. Next time, So if you see a man that you like, smile at him, flirt with him, compliment him, you know what I mean? And then they'll take it from there, yeah.
Either that or like you just have to not be looking.
Right.
And then an opportunity will present itself. Because I know like with my boyfriend, I wasn't really looking. I was like, I'm over it. Like I don't want to, I'm focused on like the dancing, like career-wise. Like really, I don't want to waste any time on anything else. But like, it's been great. So I don't know. I don't like that damsel in distress thing. I think of that lady like tied to the railroad tracks. I really like that. I don't know, maybe it's because my mom is such a strong person that I wasn't ever raised to act that way. Like, help me! Like, I'm still hesitant to ask for help.
I was raised in the same token, and actually in my family, the women run things. So, like, it's my grandmother, and she has 3 daughters and a son, and 3 women, they're all the head of their households. My mother and my 2 aunts. So I'm a little bit different. I'm a little more traditional. In my household, it's a little different. And my mother's like, one time she saw me making this plate, and she was like, you better make him get up and get his own damn plate. He should be cooking you good at scrubbing your thing and da da da. And I was like, it's okay, Mom. Like, that doesn't work for you, but
Is it okay for a man to expect a hot meal at the end of the day if you are a stay-at-home homemaker or a girlfriend who doesn't work or whatever, or you get home way earlier than him? If it's functional, is it okay to be like, well, why didn't you make something hot?
Yes.
Why are you ordering out?
Yes, I totally agree with that. Like, I feel like if you don't do anything all day, why can't you do that? Because I would feel the same way if it was the other way around. Like, I actually told my boyfriend, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna do the whole you work and I work. Like, I might want to be the one to work and have you stay home, or something like that, because it's okay to do that. But if a woman is sitting all day, she's probably spending up all his money too. You can't cook, clean. Why the house gotta be a mess?
Yeah, she's probably like at the gym for a couple hours, went to movie nails,
And then essentially when you're staying at home, it's still a job.
Exactly. Because people say that's their occupation. They're stay-at-home mom, a homemaker.
Well, if she's a mom, it's different.
Just home, not telling anything. That's something different. I was home for close to 4 months after I had my son. And let me tell you, it was the best/worst time of my life, because during the summertime, I loved the summertime. I was inside, and my son was, he was newborn, so I couldn't have him out in front of people and in the stores and all that.
Yeah, we were germs.
Right, so we had a great time bonding, and I loved that I had that time with him, and I was breastfeeding, and we walked around and we had all this, but at the same time I was like, oh my God, I need to be in the company of adults. I need to be productive. I need to be at work. I need to be doing something. And I said, I give it up to the women who can do it. Sun up and sun down, because running a household is a full-time job.
What patterns have you noticed about your dating style?
I'm with the same guy for almost 3 years.
Well, that's a pattern right there.
There was a break in between. Now, this is the first and only kind of like long, serious relationship. And again, I found it when I wasn't looking. I moved to Jersey, and I was like, how do you meet people when you're out of college? So I saw a pickup soccer league. So I met him at soccer. And it's like, wasn't looking for it. I asked for a ride home the one time, and like it became a habit that he drove me back. So we've had our ups and downs, and the first breakup was because I expected more from him. Granted, there's a 2-year age difference. He's 2 years younger than I am, and so I have to remember that. He didn't go to college, which is fine, not for everybody, but get your rearing gear, He is a very strong mother, so that household is like the women rule the roost, and the men expect it. Like, they expect her to just take care of it and like fight the battles, sort of. Like, they'll step up when they need to protect the women, but it was different for me because growing up, my dad was like, they got like
Traditional.
Yeah, it was very. He made more money than my mom, and like something's broken, dad can fix it.
So you had to adapt.
Yeah, so that's the hardest thing now, I think. And it kind of goes back to, do you need to make dinner for your boyfriend? Because he's just recently unemployed. So in the morning, I'll text him a list of chores to do because I own a house. He lives with me. You need
I'm not even down. Psychic high five. That's a real high five.
like I'm not telling him to do stuff that I wouldn't do myself. Like, I'm not saying like do my laundry,
It's not wrong of you.
Like, do the stuff that will only benefit me. You need to mow the grass. Like, if I wasn't dating you, these things need to get done anyway. So we're supposed to be a team. I need, like, here's the deal. We're not splitting the mortgage, but you pay for utilities, and I expect you to, like, help out. This isn't Hotel Elena. Like, fucking do something.
Is it appropriate to say I'm attracted to Elena?
Can we go into expectations versus reality? Because you expected a lot from him.
Yeah,
Huh?
but I expected a lot from everything. Like, I expect a lot from myself.
Which is why you have high standards for yourself when you're in your own
and
house.
I'll drive myself crazy. Like, I bought the house when I was 23, and like, drive myself crazy, taking on all these
You
things.
have high expectations.
Yeah. And that's the biggest pro and con to my personality, because I'll burn myself out doing that. But in the same hand, I've always been that way. Like I've always been.
You just have a high standard of
fiercely independent, whatever you want to call it. And I want to find, whether it is current or not, I want to find somebody that can complement that like challenges me, that pushes me to that. Because I know I've challenged him. Like we went on vacation. It's the first time he's ever been out of the country, first passport. He loved it. So now he wants to travel. Like.
I honestly think I could date you and live it out. You are the person I've been looking for because I have high expectations as well.
You mentioned the word building. In terms of relationships, do you think women judge the wrong things based on they want the here and now versus finding someone with the potential to build and grow with and form a life with and maybe introduce them to new things, like Elena said?
The biggest challenge. You have to be so patient, and I'm so impatient.
Do I really want to train a guy? Like I don't. Why don't I just give birth?
Mostly you learn new things from each other, but sometimes there's a certain level of I need you to already come with that in you. Because I know personally, like I had a boyfriend who he just didn't know anything about anything, never traveled anywhere. I took him to a restaurant without being embarrassed. That's a decent restaurant, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is so fancy," and I just was like, "This is a Thai restaurant."
He's like, "What's yuki? I don't understand."
So I was just like, "That I can't do it." So
why not though? Why can't
that's
you?
That's just me personally. Like I know there are women that can do it. I'm just not one of those women. Like realistically, I just need you. Like I don't mind teaching people certain things, and I want to learn something from you.
But you need to bring something as well. Like I can't just be the one teaching you the entire time.
Exactly.
You got to bring something to the
So then, what are your deal breakers, and where do you have that flexibility in terms of, oh, I want this, I want that, versus what's reality? How do you judge a man?
I think my deal breaker, if I may say so myself, is a man who's willing to introspect and compromise. If you don't have any emotional IQ, like, look, baby, I just shouted at you because really I'm feeling so bad inside. It's like, or insecure about da-da-da-da. Like, if you do not look inside and be like, this is where that emotion came from, and then say, you know what, I'm going to take one for the team for this one. I'm going to own this one. Those two things are deal breakers. No emotional IQ is not going to happen, and be able to take one for the team.
I do agree that I don't want to train a man, but at the same time, I feel that in any relationship, you should be able to take someone, not necessarily mold them, but help shape them themselves. Not mold them how you want them to be, but in like my boyfriend, when we met, and to this day, he's a little bit rough around the edges in the sense that sometimes he's a loud guy. He's loud and boisterous, and people love him. But like we'll be in a restaurant, having a nice intimate dinner, we'll Target, and we'll have a laugh, and I'm like, yeah, and he's, and I'll be like, oh my God, did he just do that? But at the same time, he's the most genuine, sweetest person. He takes care of us.
So you take the good with the bad.
Exactly. So there's a bit of a compromise with that, and exactly. So and he notices it. So I told him, and then we'll be out someplace. So instead of like hunching over and eating his food like this, like I may just do like a little side eye to him, and he'll be like, oh yeah, okay, that's right. You know what I mean? So and he doesn't controlling. It's not controlling. He doesn't take offense with it though. But it's also in the presentation. Like I'm able to joke with him and do little things like like I'll do the embarrassed face, but he knows I'm not really embarrassed of it. When you present it in a way that's like, hey baby, let me help you do this instead of you need to do this. This is bad about you. You have to change it. I think people are more receptive if you suggest something and are like, how about maybe I show you to do it this way rather than the way you've always done it. It would probably be better, received rather than saying you're horrible, you're fat, you stink. Let's get that.
There's only room for one of you, not two of you. So I don't need to date myself. There's only room for one of me. I'm good. I'm working on unconditionally accepting and loving myself so I can do the same to the spouse that I will have the pleasure of complimenting. And true love is loving your weaknesses and your strengths. Not saying, I love these things about me, but I so want to change this. Because that's what you do with your boyfriend. You're like, I love that you look good. Big, love it. But I'd like to change say this, and this. You don't really love him. You love the idea of him.
What holds more weight, the character of a person or what is here now? Because a lot of women are like, oh, well, he needs to make 6 figures. He needs to drive a BMW.
A lot of women is we think that Prince Charming really exists, and he doesn't. And that's the thing. Like a lot of women.
Well, even I don't know, Prince William's attitude might be lame.
And money comes and money goes. He can make a 6-figure salary today, and the stock market crashes. He's poor. What are you left with? A man that abuses you.
But you're still not fulfilled because you haven't found the person to, complement your other half. The boyfriend I have now, he's 2 years younger than me. I have a boyfriend. He's 2 years younger than me. Just got out of college last year. I've been out of school for 4 years. So age-wise, only 2 years apart. Life-wise, 4 or 5 years. I was raised by a single mother. She worked 2-3 jobs. I barely saw her. His family's the Cosbys. So what he taught me was patience, being a team. I didn't know that. I was bitch, independent Samantha. Nobody say nothing to me. I'm about my money, whatever. That's how I was until I met him. The walls came down, Initially he wasn't working when he moved up here and I moved back up here. But I learned to be patient, He would take care of home. I was working. Now he's working, so we're kind of like a team. But the things that I didn't know, that I was really rough around the edges with, he taught me. The same with him, he had the ambition and the drive, but, because of his age and his work situation, he wasn't really able to do it until now. So I think that, we complement each other in a way. It's kind of like oil and vinegar sometimes, but, you shake it up, it kind of works.
Well, exactly. Jennifer, how important are looks to you? Is that, would you date God's gift to humanity? Like that guy that every girl is like,
I dated that guy.
I wouldn't. I couldn't do it. You can't look better than me.
I'm not good at that.
I just can't do it. I can't deal with you being more concerned about your looks than I am. I look for personality first. I mean, when I was younger, yes, looks were more important, but at this point in my life, they really don't matter at all.
I have to be attracted to the person though. Like I can't date somebody that I'm not.
But I can find something else attractive about them, even if they're not physically attractive. I might like their intelligence or their ambition, and I'll find that attractive, and that's okay with me.
Yeah. As far as the looks thing though, that's not the first thing that I judge, but it does, it does make an impact. But I do want someone who's attractive to me, but also attractive to other people. Because when you're out in the street and I've seen women kind of, look back at him and I'm like, yeah, he's with me. That's not the
What I found here in New York, like men who have the looks and the money and that package, they're not looking for looks. They're not looking to treat you like, the woman that you're supposed to be. I've dated money, I've dated athletes, I've dated, actors. When I first got here, I thought I was Carrie Bradshaw. I wanted to, just live this fabulous life. Those men treated me like, and they don't know your worth, So the person I met, he's not the tallest, he doesn't have the muscles. I used to say like, oh, I want a tall guy, dark skin, big muscles. Idris Elba, exactly. Like that guy, he exists, but he's not going to treat you the way you want or deserve to be treated.
Height is such a thing for so many people. Like I dated this tall guy and so many people were like, oh my god, that's so nice that he's so tall. And I was like, yeah, but
He's just soft.
he's a jerk a lot.
Exactly.
So I don't really
He's a tall
understand.
how traditional or non-traditional are you? I know in my own personal experience, I'm very non-traditional in life. However, when it comes to having a boyfriend, I'm like, I believe I should not meet a friend of the opposite sex while I'm dating. I don't think it's appropriate because there's a time that it takes where you're trying to figure out if you're attracted to this friend or if you're like not going to act on the attraction because you're just friend. I just feel like it's inappropriate to make new friends with the opposite sex while we're dating.
I agree with that.
Extremely traditional.
I still make new friends, but I still have old friends.
Yeah, you have old friends that you haven't had a
Like boundaries are drawn. They know.
Right.
I think you can make new
While you're
acquaintances.
dating, I think it's fine. But when you're in a relationship, I think it's inappropriate. I feel like dating multiple people is perfectly fine.
As long as he knows, then it's
as long as you've communicated about this and you have an understanding, of course.
I just have to say that after speaking with all of you beautiful ladies, I would date any of you. And I'm not even like that.
We're looking for a third.